What's up, my boomers? It's me, Melanie Mac, here on my new channel, Melanie Mac Go Boom. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. So, as you could expect, while I'm recording this, it's only been like 10 minutes ago that Crystal Dynamics just announced that they are working on the next Tomb Raider game that is built on Unreal Engine 5. So naturally, I'm going to talk about this. They didn't give us a whole lot of info or any pictures or anything like that, but y'all know me. I'm very critical, okay? I absolutely adore classic Tomb Raider, like the classic Tomb Raider. It's like my favorite thing. But I'm very critical about anything after that because they have transformed Tomb Raider into something completely unrecognizable. So, I do have a lot of opinions and a lot of things to weigh in on in this discussion. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and first take a look at the announcement that we had. Oh my goodness, I always do this. Okay. So, all right, let's just give it a watch.
Crystal Dynamics is proud to be a part of the launch of Unreal Engine 5. This new engine translates into next-level storytelling and gameplay experiences. And that's why we are thrilled to announce today that we have just started development of our next Tomb Raider game, powered by Unreal Engine 5. Our goal is to push the envelope of fidelity and to deliver the high-quality cinematic action-adventure experience that fans deserve from both Crystal Dynamics and the Tomb Raider franchise. We can't wait to take this journey together. Thank you, and congratulations again to the Epic Games team.
All right, so a lot to unpack with this. With them saying they just started development of it makes me feel like, this is going to be quite a wait. I also think that this feels like, I don't know, it just feels like a last minute put together thing of, hey, let's go ahead and drop this while we talk about Unreal Engine 5. Because to get absolutely nothing, not even a concept art piece, not a teaser, nothing. I don't know. It has been quite a while since we've gotten the last Tomb Raider game back in 2018. So they've had plenty of time to start working on this. However, the teams have also been working on some Marvel properties like Guardians of the Galaxy and then the Marvel game, Avengers game and DLC and all that stuff, which obviously didn't all quite pan out as planned. There's a lot to unpack with this. We've seen them talk about wanting to unify Tomb Raider to try to make all fans happy, because what you see with classic Tomb Raider, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of Lara Croft, gameplay especially, story, backstory, Lara's backstory, all that kind of stuff, she's completely unrecognizable from her original days to where we're at now. And even the Legend timeline, which some people confuse Legend, Underworld, and Anniversary as classic, but they're different. They have completely different backstories for Lara Croft, different motivations, different personality, but her look is similar. So at least that's going, but it still is a completely different Lara Croft. Also, the gameplay was severely watered down. Tomb Raider went from being a notoriously difficult, challenging game that required you to think a lot, that didn't hold your hand, that had some very difficult puzzles and exploration moments to where you would spend a ton of time looking for keys and things to progress the game. Difficult boss fights, things of that nature, but most of the difficulty being in both traversal and in puzzles and exploration elements, which were completely changed once Legend dropped. That's when they made the game very streamlined, very easy. You got the auto grab, you got the very linear levels that kind of play themselves, and you got like a lot of physics-based puzzles, but not any actual exploration to be had to really progress. Underworld did improve on this a little bit, but not completely. And they also changed Lara Croft's backstory. The whole incorporate more of the parents thing. Lara is following in her dad's footsteps, whereas classic Lara did what she wanted because she wanted. She was honestly disowned because she didn't agree to an arranged marriage that her parents set up for her. And she chose the lifestyle of an adventurer. And she was just very anti-hero like, very selfishly motivated and all that. And then we've seen that change from Legend onward to her, more so having her motivations revolve around her parents. And also her being a bit more of a goody two-shoes. I mean, she still had some attitude in Underworld especially, but still for the most part, she was this soft, gentle thing. And she wasn't that before. And then, of course, what we have in the reboot is that girl next door, nothing really spectacular or stand out about her. And, she's a likable character, but she's just not Lara Croft. And so because of all those changes, to try to unify all that, I feel like I don't see how it could work. I think it could be a step up and an improvement of what we have now, but I still don't see how you can put three completely different characters into one. Essentially, it's just going to be a hodgepodge, in my opinion. Now, one thing from this video that I didn't like is that he just really put a lot of emphasis on cinematic experience. I don't like that. I like Tomb Raider to be so focused on gameplay and on puzzles and on actually letting the game tell the story itself and letting the game be an adventure with cutscenes complementing that. Okay? Cutscenes being like a reward, sprinkled in as a reward as you continue to progress through the game. As the old games did it. That's what I like. But what we've seen from Legend onward, and especially in the reboot games, is that the whole cinematic story is the biggest part of it. And it's just you got a very overdramatic Lara Croft. You got a very dramatic storyline. You got stuff that really isn't fundamental to Tomb Raider. And honestly, kind of the antithesis of Tomb Raider. Because... yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot. Now, people are excited, and obviously, seeing an announcement, it does make me happy to know that something's in the works. But until I see more, I'm not really going to get that excited in advance. I'm just glad to see something is happening, and they're telling us something is happening. Now, what I want, obviously, I don't expect to happen. I don't expect them to go back to like a classic style formula. I don't expect them to go to a classic Lara. I wish they would, but I don't expect that. But I am curious to see how this unification thing goes. That said, we already know from the Netflix story, because we're getting like an animated Netflix series from Tomb Raider. They've already shared the premise of it that Lara Croft is essentially on a road trip with some pals and some buddies, and they go on adventures. And I don't like that. I don't like how they've thrown in companions for Lara Croft since the reboot in general, or honestly since Legend. Because Lara was always such a loner, and she always did her own thing. There were times where she would have a guide with her, like in the classics, to like get her established in location, and they always died at the beginning of the game. And that's that, and she would still have like some friends, if you will, that she might rendezvous with briefly or just talk to a little bit. We saw that with Tomb Raider Last Revelations. But it wasn't that much of her character. She was a very much a loner, and she didn't like working with people. She wasn't even a good team player. She was just very rambunctious and just did things on her own and for the thrill of it. So I do wish they would really go back to the roots, completely eliminate the parental stuff. Let her just do what she wants because she wants it. Don't mention the parents again, for crying out loud, because nobody likes that. But I don't totally expect it. I think that what we're getting with the Netflix series, if it is any sort of connection with what we're getting in the future, I am just, I will be tuned out. I don't even know if I'll play it. If it's going to be like a road trip experience, an adventuring experience with pals, I probably won't even play it. I'm kind of over it, and I'll just stick to classics now. I guess we'll see. Some people are really excited about it, but then we also have some comments here like, I'm expecting more Jonah from the game, but all seriousness, very excited and hope it's in Egypt. We'll see. Now, let me kind of go through some of what we do have. Okay, I made a video on this statue already. This looks like some sort of unification effort, and I don't like it. I think she looks kind of like a dude. She looks very androgynous. She doesn't have that just fantastic Lara Croft. That's the thing about Lara Croft, is she's supposed to be unachievable, unattainable, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is unattainable in her look. Like, no one can actually achieve quite what she looks like. If you could try, but she just got this like power fantasy version of a very athletic yet feminine figure that looks strong and capable, but also very feminine at the same time. This looks like, this is just pretty basic. There's nothing really that catches your eye about this. There's nothing particularly stand out and like, wow, you ain't gonna turn your head walking past this on the street. And so I don't like that. I feel like this is very boring. This is very safe. It is very dull. And I'm hoping this is just a rush statue effort. But now let me continue. Look at the Weta statue, however. This is more along the lines of what I'm thinking and what I like. You got this feminine but athletic look to her. She looks, look at her muscle tone. Amazing. You'd have to work out at the gym for years to achieve this. Really be on point with your diet, all that kind of stuff. She looks beautiful. She looks strong. She looks capable of fighting these raptors right now. I love this. Love it. But I don't know how much of this effort was all on Weta's part versus what all Crystal Dynamics weighed in on it and that kind of thing. Because, this is a stark difference. If you compare this to, this is another thing, to this. It is a very stark difference. Now that I keep going to the other picture, let me go to this. Now, this was for the Tomb Raider 25-year celebration. They dropped this art. This was officially made, but it was supposedly in just a commemoration to Tomb Raider 1. This is a lot more along the lines of what I hope to see. Now, if I saw something like this in a new Tomb Raider game, look, no headset, no pals, no buddies. It's Lara on her own, on an adventure, dumped in the middle of nowhere, and fighting a T-Rex and a raptor, bats. Look at the environment. Look at Lara Croft herself, the muscle tone. She looks amazing. She's still got like some curves. My only issue with this picture is she's got hobbit legs. I don't understand. Now, no shade against short legs, but these don't even look like proportionate. Her legs look like very, 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 her thighs look like they're that long. Like very, very short legs. That's something that they've kind of incorporated in Lara's character as of late, is they've given her short legs, which is odd to me because her character was created originally with very long legs. She had very long athletic legs, very strong thighs, and just those long curvy legs that looked really strong. And so to me, to give her such short legs is jarring, especially since Lara Croft was, tall. She's supposed to be like 5'9". They changed that, but that's the thing that I liked a lot about Lara Croft, and the thing that made her such a good character, and what made it more believable when she's like hand-to-hand combat kicking butt, like dudes' butts and stuff, is that she was as big as a lot of the guys. Like she she was as big and strong and as a lot of the dudes, and it made it more believable. So when you have, I'm telling you, if you look at this, she looks like she's about 5'1", with how short the legs are. And they're not really proportionate to the rest of her. It's just not giving me that total Lara Croft vibe. Now, if you stretched the legs a bit and made her look more like 5'9", I would, you know what, if you're going to change Lara Croft's height, you should change it to taller, not shorter, in my opinion. That's where I stand with it, because there's something about that statuesque, big, strong Lara Croft, that Amazonian looking, that made her so intimidating. Now, Lara Croft was originally designed to be intimidating, and I like that. This isn't intimidating. I like an intimidating Lara Croft. And so I feel like 5'9" minimum, but even if they made her taller, I would not even be mad at it. Give us that strong, tall, muscular, but still curvy Lara Croft who can kick some butt. Do I expect it? Not totally. But I mean, we do have a new team of sorts. New, we got Dallas on the team now. I haven't really seen a whole lot of what he's done, but new direction. So I'm not completely out of hope, but I'm just going to hope that whatever they're doing with the Netflix stuff, that does not reflect the next game. Because I can't do a buddy old pal adventure. I can't do that with Tomb Raider again. It's just not in Lara Croft's character. I think if they're looking for inspiration and stuff like that, obviously they should be looking at the source material, but also look at like Angelina Jolie's Lara Croft, her personality especially, but even her look. Maybe make her look more athletic, like muscular and stuff, but still, like, look to Angelina Jolie's Lara as some sort of inspiration. Angelina Jolie really captured the perfect Lara Croft personality. I just want to see that. I want to see that again. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let me go ahead and read some comments from future videos, or from past videos. I can't look at the future. Otherwise, I will just go on a tangent because I can talk about Tomb Raider forever. All right, so RoboTrip says, secular society promotes self-destructive behavior to control people. When people are taught that there is no problem being a glutton or pursuing lust, they end up having unfulfilling and self-destructive lives. They subconsciously feel guilty for indulging, but secular society tells them there's nothing wrong with what they are doing, basically gaslighting them to the point that they will react with anger to those who tell them to have more self-control. Then the same society uses this guilt trip to pressure people to take up causes like saving the world from the supposed carbon-fueled apocalypse in 2030 or eating bugs instead of beef. But these things never truly satisfy the soul, and the individual will fall for any new con to fill the God-shaped hole in their hearts. This is like really well said, and I'm very impressed. I love it when people really think. You know what I mean? I love it. I love it when people think against the narrative and try to make sense of everything going on right now. And I like this. I like everything that you've unpacked here. I think this is great. The Eagles Tower says, I'm a recovered alcoholic, tobacco smoker, binge eater, and corn addict. I say corn, I don't want demonetize. Sober since August of 2018, and I get hostile with anyone trying to push or persuade me to go back to that junk. I can't even be in a pub without feeling sick. I love eating and drinking right, staying focused on Jesus Christ, and working out 5 to 6 days a week. I feel like Batman. I'm so freaking proud of you, dude. Thank you so much for sharing your story here. I think this is very inspiring and very amazing. Because like I say in all kinds of videos, we all have our weaknesses and we all have our things that are, that tempt us, that aren't good for us. And it's going to look different for everybody, what those may be. But the fact that you are living a disciplined life and striving to be the best you can be, I think that is mega inspiring. And I also agree with you when you say that people try to persuade you to go to that. And I also hear this stuff all the freaking time. And it's like mind-boggling to me that people would try to push me into things that aren't even healthy for me. And so, like, for example, with the way that I eat, I follow a carnivore diet. This works best for my health and I feel my best eating this way. But there's so many people that just constantly try to push me out of it. And they're just like, okay, treat yourself. And whatever, once in a blue moon or sometimes on occasion, on special occasion, I get it. But the amount of time people will tell me, oh, this is restrictive. How are you going to be happy like this? Dude, what you don't realize is that when I think of times where I did indulge in eating whatever, even in moderation or what have you, I didn't feel my best. I didn't feel, you have like those temporary dopamine hits, but I didn't feel my best and I didn't feel great. I even though what I eat now is just mostly strictly meat and eggs, it's not as, you don't have the same dopamine rush as you get eating pizza or cinnamon rolls. But the long-term mental effects, my mental health is better than it was before. My physical health is better than it was before. I do have a better quality of life because this is how I eat. Or even if you look at drinking, because I don't drink. The amount of people who try to get me to drink, it's just absurd. Because I've barely drank my entire life. I didn't have my first drink until I was like 24. And it also makes me feel sick. Like I've barely ever drank. And every time I'm out in a public setting or something where a bunch of people are drinking, and hey, you know what? I don't judge them. Do what you want to do. But the amount of people that just try to push me into drinking, it's just like, why? Why would you push someone into that? Or even when I became single that was for the past couple years. After I got out of that long-term relationship, it was like, I got advice from some of my girlfriends to just go crazy. Yeah, girl, go crazy, sleep around, have fun. And it's like, why would you encourage me to do something like that? That's not healthy. It's not healthy mentally, emotionally, physically, none of that. And so it just was so mind-boggling to me to get that kind of advice. I don't get it. We're an upside down world. Edgar says, you are the first person that I've heard to ever mention that the new Batman is your second fave behind The Dark Knight. That is literally my opinion too. Thank you, super random post, but it got me excited. Hey, you have good taste. Dorothy says, you make the movie sound like an allegory for Twitter. You start off with a crappy hand, you get bullied, you make a Twitter, you get perceived power, you start bullying people, and people that were at first your friends are now your enemies because you have different views on something. This exactly feels like Twitter, and it's exactly how a lot of people on Twitter act, which is really sad. Brandon the Zealot says, a couple of favorite vampire movies of mine are Metamorphosis and Manhattan Undead. Metamorphosis stars Highlander's Christopher Lambert. I don't know anyone in Manhattan Undead, but it was really good drama. I will definitely check these out because I love vampire movies. Kane says, sounds like it may have been better had Morbius taken the serum second instead of first in order to stop his friend, then become what he hated. Then walks in Spider-Man. Dude, after I read this comment, I was like, yes, this would have made everything so much better. So, like, say he wanted to help his friend out first, and then Milo, slowly or progressively, not instantly. He shouldn't have instantly turned into a villain. He should have had a turning point moment after taking the serum that turned him into that. Like I said more in my last video about the movie, if you want to check that out. And then putting Morbius in a position to where, okay, I gotta stop him, but then also having this inner conflict with what he hates, that would have been so much better. I 1000% agree. Uncut Heliotrope says, wait, Oldboy is Chinese/Hong Kong cinema. Who is the racist here? Yep, that article author, which is so funny. I haven't seen Oldboy, so I don't really know, but I'm just saying, this does not surprise me if true, that the article author will go off on a tangent about how games are racist because they're made by Americans that are portraying other cultures as an act of like appreciation. How that's considered racist, but then they sit and confuse Chinese/Hong Kong cinema with Japanese. That's hilarious. Mr. Observer says, I love you, of course, but nothing can be worse than Eternals. It's impossible. You could have Leto pooping on a toilet for a whole movie and it would be better. Same goes for Captain Marvel. I haven't seen the Eternals, so maybe Morbius isn't the worst. Captain Marvel I did not like, however, I will say that much. But I think that the quality was better, in like cinema quality was better than what we saw with Morbius. All right, and there's this. Okay, so there's the comments. Let me go ahead and go into the verse of the day. This is a long video, but it is a Tomb Raider themed video. So is to be expected. I picked Psalm 42:11. Says, "Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God." I think it's just great to put into perspective and remember whenever we are going through some difficult times. It does help because there's times where people will fail you, we will fail other people, all that kind of stuff. But one good constant to have in your life is God, 1,000%. And man, I'm not gonna lie, these past couple days, I've been in my own head a lot, and I've been feeling kind of down and stuff. And usually when that happens, there's a lot of times where I'll feel discouraged about things and even about what I'm doing online. I think part of it is that I am chronically online. It's what I do every single day. And I love it. And I don't want to say that I don't love it, but there's a lot of negative effects that come with that. And part of that is I don't really have much of a fulfilling life outside of it. And it really brings me down sometimes. And that's kind of where I've been these past couple days. And then whenever that kind of stuff happens, it makes me want to kind of just hide away from the internet altogether. But I don't think that I'm supposed to be doing that. I think that what I'm doing is part of my calling and what I'm supposed to do. And whenever I just get comments from you guys and like seeing a lot of the comments that I have lately, and yesterday I was looking at some comments and it just really, and this morning, and it really helped refresh me, and it made me think like, okay, like this, I'm doing some good here. And I feel bad because some people get really mad at me for sharing my opinions. And so I'm like, why am I even doing this? Why am I doing this if I'm just upsetting people? I'm trying not, I don't want to do that. I don't want to upset people. I want to, I want to be encouraging. And I do share some of my opinions that are more critical about certain things. But I think there's certain things that I stand up against, like a lot of the woke movement and the bullying that goes along with it. And I feel like in this space, especially in the nerd space, I'm one of very few who does that. And so I want to be a part of that. And so, yeah, but it's just tough. It's like an inner battle I have with myself because I don't like to upset other people. But then at the same time, like, I feel like these things need to be talked about. And I also feel like, hey, I'm also incorporating the Bible. I'm incorporating God's word into everything. And I feel like that's a good thing. And so, yeah, it's tough. But I just thank y'all so much for the support and help keeping me going because, yeah, that just makes all the difference. But I do feel a lot better today. I am kind of like not going to be on Twitter as often as usual for the next couple days or so, just however long it takes for me to just feel human again, I guess, because when you are chronically online, it does kind of feel like sometimes you don't get, because the real world is so much different than Twitter, and so when I'm on Twitter all the time and then and I'm not living much of a fulfilling life offline, then it does really brings me down. And so I do feel like I need to step away just a little bit. Maybe like spend some more time with my brothers and stuff and playing games with them and just trying to get out more and trying to live, I guess. So I don't know. There's that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you tomorrow. And in the meantime, go boom.